FEAR or USD pair is clinging to its recovery gains near 1.145 as it awaits key inflation data from Germany and the United States later today. The euro is slightly down against the dollar at 1.1438 after rising to 1.1467 overnight, its highest level in more than 2 weeks. Investors are cautious ahead of the release of the German inflation data for September, which will be a crucial input for the European Central Bank's monetary policy decision scheduled for October. The preliminary inflation data from Germany is expected to show a year-on-year increase of 4.2%, up from 3.9% in August. If the actual inflation rate comes in higher than the expected 4.2%, the euro could strengthen as it would signal a faster economic recovery in Europe's largest economy and could raise expectations for a rate hike by the ECB. However, the upside potential of the euro is limited as the European Central Bank is widely expected to maintain its current monetary policy stance of keeping interest rates at record lows to support the eurozone's pandemic recovery. The lack of any substantial progress in the debt crisis talks between Greece and its creditors is also weighing on the euro. On the other hand, the dollar is finding support as the market awaits the release of the US inflation data for September. The US inflation is expected to show a slight increase of 0.4% in September after a 0.6% rise in August. If the actual inflation comes in higher than expected, it could boost the dollar as it would signal that the US economy is recovering faster than other economies and could raise expectations for a rate hike by the Federal Reserve. However, the dollar's upside potential is also limited as the Federal Reserve has already started to taper its bond purchases and a rate hike is not expected until the second half of 2023. The market is also awaiting the release of the US retail sales data for September, which is expected to show a month-on-month increase of 0.7% after a 0.9% rise in August. In conclusion, the euro is struggling to make any significant gains against the dollar as investors are cautious ahead of the key inflation data from Germany and the United States. The lack of progress in the Greek debt crisis talks is also weighing on the euro. On the other hand, the dollar is finding support as the market awaits the US inflation and retail sales data. The euro is expected to remain under pressure in the near term, unless there is some positive news on the Greek debt crisis. The Eurozone's preliminary inflation data for September, which is due on Wednesday, will be a key event to watch for any significant moves in the euro's exchange rate.